What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Dana White talks TJ Dillashaw's past PED usage. This weekend, former bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw will step into the octagon with reigning champion Aljamain Sterling for a highly anticipated showdown. The stakes are incredibly high for both men, with Sterling looking to defeat the man many feel is the greatest bantamweight of all time, and Dillashaw looking to reclaim the bantamweight title that he never lost inside the octagon. Leading up to the fight, Sterling has stated that although he's confident his opponent will be using PEDs, he doesn't care. The bantamweight champion is still riding an incredible high after defeating Peter Yan in a highly anticipated rematch to retain the title, and has no plans of tasting defeat on October 22nd, even if Dillashaw is still using EPO. Although he's nearly 2 years removed from a suspension for PEDs, the title of PED user has continued to follow Dillashaw. The way UFC President Dana White sees things, Dillashaw doesn't get the credit he deserves for owning up to his past PED usage. During a recent interview, White spoke about Dillashaw's past transgressions, saying,
"Don't know this for a fact, but I would assume he's one of the most tested guys in the company right now. USADA's probably all over him. But I think that, he made a mistake and he handled it like a man. Let me tell you what, we've had a lot of guys throughout the history of this company who have been busted for steroids and handled it the exact opposite way. They handled it not like men. And Dillashaw did. He took it on the chin, and you got to respect him for that."
Of course, as fight fans may or may not remember, after Dillashaw was flagged for EPO usage following his fight with Henry Cejudo several years ago, USADA went back and retested all of the backup testing samples he provided for past fights. When Dillashaw's samples were retested, it was revealed that they were all clean of any performance-enhancing drugs. Despite that, Dillashaw has been unable to shake the title of PED user. Where do you stand on the matter? Have you forgiven Dillashaw, or do you think he's still using performance-enhancing drugs? Sound off below. Charles Oliveira says he has no weaknesses. When Charles Oliveira steps into the octagon to fight Islam Makhachev in the main event of UFC 280, it will be the first time the former champion fights while being able to see. As Oliveira revealed in the buildup of this fight, he underwent corrective eye surgery that will now allow him to see his opponent clearly while fighting. As it turns out, that isn't the only thing Do Bronx has improved during his time away from the octagon. In a recent video leading up to the fight, the former champion revealed that he feels he's better wherever the fight takes place. As if that wasn't enough, Oliveira went as far as to state that he feels he has no weaknesses inside the octagon. "With my BJJ, if you make a mistake, I'll finish you off. I'm a better striker, better on the ground, better wrestler. I have no weaknesses. My weaknesses are long gone. That's the truth. I'll make history. The belt comes back home. I'll knock him out in the first round." Oliveira also revealed that he isn't afraid of going to the ground with Makhachev. In his eyes, none of Makhachev's opponents have been as skilled on the ground as he is. Given the fact that the two men are some of the most talented grapplers in the division, many assume this fight could be won on the feet if their grappling abilities cancel each other out. When the two men meet on October 22nd, Oliveira will do so as the betting underdog. Although the odds are surprising, considering the fact that Oliveira never lost the belt inside the octagon, it's a position Do Bronx is comfortable in. The way he sees things, he's been the underdog time and time again throughout the course of his life. With time winding down until the fight takes place, the MMA community has remained completely split in regards to who they think emerges victorious. Who do you think gets the job done in Abu Dhabi? Give us your predictions in the comment section below. Ilir Latifi issued temporarily suspension by NSAC. Leading up to Ilir Latifi's highly anticipated heavyweight bout with Alexei Oleinik, fight fans couldn't help but notice what looked like a pretty significant staph infection on the leg of the popular Swede. The following night, when Latifi stepped into the octagon against Oleinik, fans again called attention to what appeared to be a staph infection. As fate would have it, Latifi did in fact fight with a staph infection. In his post-fight octagon interview, Latifi revealed that he had a staph infection that caused his leg to swell just days before the fight. Despite coming down with a fever, Latifi still fought, much to the dismay of those in attendance. This week, the Nevada State Athletic Commission revealed that they were issuing a temporary suspension against Latifi for knowingly competing with a staph infection. Although there's been no word as to how long his official suspension will be, the temporary suspension could last for quite some time depending on the severity of the infection and how the upcoming hearing plays out. Although Latifi certainly isn't the first fighter to compete with a staph infection, the fact of the matter is that by doing so, he put his opponent in danger. Fight fans may remember a particularly nasty staph infection former heavyweight Mark Hunt battled with in the hospital for quite some time. The wound was so incredibly horrific that it looked like something out of a horror movie. Given how dangerous staph infections can be, the fact that Latifi knowingly exposed his opponent to the flesh-eating bacteria will be a major focal point of an inevitable hearing with the NSAC. Of course, it's important to mention that Latifi did reveal after the fight that he had no more remaining fights on his UFC contract. At 40 years old, it sounded as though he was considering walking away from the sport. Whether the temporary suspension has any impact on his future plans or not remains to be seen. Before we continue, make sure you give that like button some love and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Zone for all the latest news. Dana White's Power Slap League cleared by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. While many thought Zuffa boxing would be the next major venture by the UFC and Dana White, it sounds as though the UFC president has other things in mind. According to a report from MMA Junkie, the Nevada State Athletic Commission has officially approved plans for Power Slap League. The move came on the heels of the UFC president posting on Instagram recently about hosting the biggest slap competition of all time, which led many to wonder just what the polarizing figure had in the works. While the Nevada State Athletic Commission is on board, Power Slap League will reportedly host its first event before the end of the year. According to reports, the competition will take place at the UFC Apex. However, so far, no other details have been announced. Interestingly enough, former UFC owner Lorenzo Fertitta is also involved with the Power Slap League. The longtime friends teaming up for this endeavor will, without a doubt, garner significant public interest. Unfortunately, however, if the event is to take place at the UFC Apex, then fight fans likely won't have the opportunity to attend. Are you excited for Power Slap League, or will you be skipping out on the promotion's inaugural event? Give us your thoughts on the controversial competition in the comments section below.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be in London. I'm doing the O2 Arena on that Saturday night that Oliveira fights Makhachev. So I'm going to miss it. I'm going to see maybe if I'm hoping
you're halfway there.
When I get off stage, I'll be able to either watch it. I don't know how it lines up time-wise with London time. I'll either be able to watch it before or after I get off stage.
I think it's prelims start at 7 a.m. in California.
Oh, so they're doing it on Abu Dhabi time. That's interesting. One way or another, I will watch the fight.
TJ Dillashaw gives bold predictions for UFC 280 title fight. This weekend, former bantamweight champion TJ Dillashaw will step into the octagon in the hopes of capturing the title that he was stripped of so many years ago. After defeating Cody Garbrandt to defend the 135-pound title, Dillashaw dropped to flyweight in the hopes of becoming a two-division champion. Of course, after dropping a first-round TKO loss to Henry Cejudo, Dillashaw was flagged for EPO and subsequently handed a 2-year suspension. After nearly 2.5 years away from the octagon, Dillashaw made his successful return to the octagon last year by defeating Corey Sandhagen. With his sights now set on reigning champion Aljamain Sterling, Dillashaw is prepared to deliver a brutal finish when the two collide on October 22nd. During a recent interview with MMA Junkie, the former champion gave his official prediction for this fight, saying,
"I'm gonna finish him. I'm gonna break him. I'm gonna, he doesn't have the gas tank. He doesn't have the full, well-rounded skills. I'm just gonna rely on some small skills that he's good at that I don't think are gonna be an issue for me, and I'm gonna break him by just being on him all the time, the constant pressure, and then finishing him."
Dillashaw has previously pointed out that Sterling has never faced a wrestler as experienced as him. While the champ was able to use his grappling to jump out to an early lead over Peter Yan in their highly anticipated rematch earlier this year, Dillashaw will present a sizable challenge. As a former Division I wrestler, Dillashaw is confident he can handle any grappling exchanges he may find himself in. Of course, Sterling has been on an absolute tear of the bantamweight division since being knocked out by Marlon Moraes in 2017. With 7 straight wins under his belt, the reigning champion's confidence is at an all-time high. Do you think Dillashaw will be able to make good on his prediction and reclaim the title this weekend? Give us your predictions in the comment section below and let us know who you think leaves Abu Dhabi with the bantamweight title. Thank you so much for joining us today. What do you make of what's going on in the fight world? Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all the latest news from the MMA Zone. See you next time.